Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jared Waters. This is the podcast One Man, One Tree in a Hill. It's about being alone with your own thoughts, and I have a special guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my dear friend Tom.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on?
Tom, how's life? Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, my brother. Always good to see you.
Me and Tom met. It's been like 2 years, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago, and Tom's story is amazing. How he's come now. Now he's if you hear his testimony, you guys are going to hear it now. But the way Tom is now, he's definitely a leader. I would say a leader amongst men. We go to the same church, and he's active inside the community, always bringing people to this higher level of Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to add some applause. This is Tom.
Oh, man. Thank you. Thank you.
How are you, sir? You good?
I'm good, brother. I'm good, man. I just want to say, man, this is just amazing to be here with you. We talked about just 2 years ago, like we met, but I tell you, it's really like right now, it's so clear. Maybe I could just go back to our trip to Poconos when we did the men's retreat.
Before we go to the Poconos,
Yeah.
let's go back to where it all started.
All right.
Where are you from?
Oh, man, I'm from Harlem, Spanish Harlem. That's where I'm from, East Side.
So you literally saw New York City change.
Oh, yeah. I seen the change. I seen that go from where we were at in the 80s, on the sidewalk with beach chairs selling crack to where we was stopping frisk and we was all getting thrown up against the wall and everything, man. So, yeah, I saw that. And now where it's like
butter scones. And
yeah, everyone is a lot of coffee shops, people jogging,
people jogging safely.
Yeah, safely. You ain't running from cars. That's how we got our exercise and running from cars.
He runs a 4.500.
Oh man, we had a lot of athletes back then. I tell you.
What? Let's go even before that. Your upbringing. What type of household did you come from? 2-parent household. What was it like when you growing up? Were you the oldest, youngest child?
So I have 3 brothers, 2 older and 1 younger one who's a year younger than me. 2 sisters that I actually don't even know. They came around a couple of times and definitely lost contact. So I grew up mother and father. And I would say my mom's passed away when I was about 9. And my dad passed away when I was 16, but predominantly my parents, like we're all the parents back in those days, they were all came from Puerto Rico, got into the drugs and everything else. So both my parents are hooked on heroin.
Since you were a child, you have like vivid memories of that, or?
I mean, so it was like my dad was the one that actually took care of us, and from like my first memories was just him being around, taking care of us, doing what he has to do as a man. I know the stories is that he, as soon as we were born, because myself and my younger brother are his kids, as soon as I was born, he stopped the drugs, actually stopped smoking, stopped everything, to take care of us. My mom's, on the other hand, she kept the party going. So she was just still doing all that stuff.
Were all of you guys in the same house?
Yeah, we were
So
all in the
mom,
same
dad,
house.
and your 2 brothers.
Yeah, so 3 brothers, we were all in the same house. And then
How many rooms was it? Small place in Harlem, East Harlem?
So we from my earliest memory, we were actually downtown on 68th and Amsterdam in the projects. And then we moved to Spanish Harlem, and I guess I was young. I don't know, probably 5 or something like that. And we were in one bedroom, maybe 1.5 bedroom. I don't even know what they call it.
6 people?
Yeah. We were in there. So me and my younger brother slept in the living room in like some makeshift bunk beds. My older brothers slept in the bedroom, and then my dad and my mom slept in like this half room. Yeah, and that's how we were moving. It was good though.
A lot of memories, a lot of laughs.
A lot of memories, a lot of laughs. But also, those bad memories, because you have a mother that's hooked on drugs, and she was she was in and out, but
Could she hide it from you guys, or like you guys, you knew like at a young age that
I
something was
mean,
up?
she was dipping out for days, bro. So she would just definitely like be there 1 minute, next minute she'd be gone, and then like I really realized one time and how my dad is, what was, and understanding what it means about grace, because I think about it now. So my mom used to disappear for days, and my dad used to just let her in when she would come and just be like, glad you're home, and go take a shower and go get some rest. And that, thinking about that now, it's just like understanding like where my journey was at and how I ended up, where I'm at now. But yeah, that grace he showed up was not no man doing that. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know that. And yeah, so around 9, she died. She contracted HIV, and yeah, that was tough.
Who explained it to you guys, or just?
Yeah, my dad and as well.
That's a young age to be like 9 to have that type of news.
Yeah, I mean, we were already, in not in the street like that, but we were out there. We was hanging out, like not in the parks, and we had our friends and everything else. So my dad was still, he was around, but after school we would just be in the park, just running around and everything else. And he actually came, and like went and grabbed me and started talking to me about it, and just like, and I remember this, like he was just like, your mom is just, she wasn't feeling well, and she passed away. And I started running down the block, just cause I was, I didn't even like understand it really, it's just like, man, she was good. And just so you know, like after the last maybe couple of years of her, like, doing all the drugs and all that stuff, she started cleaning herself up, and she was on point. She was like #1 Avon salesman in Harlem. Like, she was doing a thing. She was like president of the PTA in the school. Like, so she wasn't all the way through. We just early on she was just wilding with the drugs and everything else. But after, she cleaned herself up, and but
so
that's
like 8 to 9. So like when you're like 9,
yeah, she was good.
Yeah,
she was good. She was around. She was she was solid. She was she was doing the mother thing, and yeah. So we all were like tight knit family from there. But
what was those memories like when she got sober?
Man, it was good, man. Christmas was good. We was just opening gifts. I remember we had some. What was that?
Yo-yos?
Nah, man. We was talking about, what was the first laser tag? You remember those things? It was not even a laser tag. It was like before that. It was like some big photon gun or whatever. So we were all like excited about opening these big boxes, putting on these packs, shooting each other.
Shooting each other. Yeah. Turn off the lights.
That was it back then, man. We was just, we don't even think. Do we have? We didn't have no cable, none of that. My dad did get like a fixed box back then,
and everybody just hook it up.
So it wasn't even that. We would get like some dude. I don't know how he did it, but he would take like the cable, not the cable wire, actual wire, and like connect it to like your VCR receiver, and then you'd be able to turn the channels. Yo, it was wild. You didn't even need a box.
Everybody's just sitting. Yeah. Come over here. We got the fight on.
Nah, we kept that quiet, bro. We ain't getting in trouble. We keeping that. That's family right here. Nah, it was good. And, we just, everyone there, and, mom's was good and all that. Pops was just, working, doing what he doing. She passed. That was tough, and I think that's when it's like really starting to go into like what the hood does, man. Sucks you in.
Did anybody at school like reach out to you or anything else, or was just like that you didn't have those type of teachers when you were young?
Nah, not teachers, but a lot of the parents that we all grew up in, and then there was an after school program called Upper Fund, which is dope, man. That's where I spent most of my time, my youth at, just being there. Had a lot of men that was around, beating the crap out of us, but giving us that mentorship, trying to keep us right. You know, there was a woman there that was always around, just trying to take care of all of us. It was that real it takes a village, and that's what it was. So it was good. We did that. Watched '86 Mets World Series, '88. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember those times we're all in the school and just spending time with everyone, and it was really cool, man. It was really good to be in that atmosphere. But at a certain point, them streets, bro, they call you.
What's before they called you? What about your brothers? Are you guys from that family where you guys all have to stay together, or you guys all did your own thing? Or were you like the youngest one, but like leading the siblings?
So from my older brothers,
Or what's he like?
my oldest brothers, he's a dude, he grew up in the streets and all that stuff, and didn't have no education, got like a 5th grade education or whatever, but always good with his hands, just making things and doing all that stuff. He was actually one of those steady rock dudes coming out with the cardboard, breakdance and all that stuff. Like that was his thing. Yeah. But he had left, and then like moved downtown at LES. Started staying with at that time my grandfather was down there, my mother's father. So he was down there, and my second oldest brother, he went to the Navy. Probably one of the smartest dudes I know. Like, this dude, I mean, he would sit, listen to sports radio, and like write down like the stats from everything, and just like keep, like, it was just wild, like how his mind was working in there. So he wasn't like in the street or anything. He was just an introvert, just kept to himself.
Did you miss them when they left the house? Like, could you tell? Like, did you feel like
not really. I mean, it wasn't even like that, because we was like, yo, I got a room. I'm like, yo, they bounce, I'm good. I'm like, I got my little brother, sleeping in the same bed with me practically. I'm like, yo, I'm out, man. I'm going to the room. I'm like, these dudes are gone.
They're gone.
Yeah. I mean, they're like 10 and 15 years older than me. So it was, that age difference. So we rocked. We had some good times and all that, but they were just older. It wasn't like, they were around, they hung out for, with us for a little bit, but, they were trying to do their own thing. So when they left, I was like, yo, I'm good.
So when you were in your adolescence, you were pretty much like a only child, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely, with my little brother, who's a year younger than me, definitely it was just me and, me trying to, older brother him, and, sometimes those days worked, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes, we fought all the time, but it was one of those things, like, we would fight each other in the park, wherever we at, but if somebody come at him,
then it's game over.
Yo, it's over. We like, yo, we turn at, yeah. It's like, yo, let's go. We got him.
The whole squad turns around.
Yeah. So that's how it was, but, yeah, man, those days, wow, I don't believe them. Just, it's like all coming back right now. It's crazy.
So your neighborhood, like everyone on your block knew you guys. So everybody knew each other.
Yeah, so I grew up in Spanish Harlem, but on Pleasant Avenue, where it's like, so Spanish Harlem was split between Italians, and then it went into like more Spanish, Puerto Ricans, and then blacks on the other side and everything else. So I grew up with Italians, but the Italian part, I was like young dealing with that, like just like legit, like dudes, like, yo, Tommy, go get me some coffee, like that, like these dudes on the social, yeah, it was like legit like that. So I grew up with those dudes for a little bit, until
Did y'all all stay in your own side, like how Spanish stays over here?
Oh yeah, it was definitely like.
Why do you think it was like that? It was just like in general, just like.
I mean, it's.
You knew not to go over there, or.
I mean, it's like everyone stay in their tribe, man. I mean, race is a big thing, man. And people stay in their circles and where they comfortable at, and then you'll find like in between those groups, there's be a few people that'll be able to walk in,
mix.
and mix into those, you know what I'm saying? And those type of dudes, you know, they come. There's a certain way that you move like that, you know, with respect, you know, with your word, you know, and being real about it, you know, and not just be on the street like, you know, doing dumb stuff and all that, you know. So, like for myself, I was able to move around in a lot of those circles because, you know, I grew up pretty fast, so I wasn't trying to be on no kid stuff, you know. I'm like, yo, this is what I'm trying to do is get money, you know.
What age were you like, all right, we got to get money? What was the age where you
Man, my first hustle job was a lookout, and I was like 10.
10.
Word, on
So
the corner. As soon as my mom's passed, that was it. My dad was out working, so he didn't really have time to, like, make sure, like, what we were doing. So he would wake up in the morning, wake us up, yo, school, and then bounce because you had to go to work. And we were like, yeah. Psh.
No, straight no.
Go right back to sleep. Make it, man. I don't even know. I mean, yeah, we was just.
They never called the house.
They would call. They would send these cards or whatever,
just
man. We just rip them up or whatever. And you know, we would go. And I mean, I started like I would make sure like my brother would go, and then I would just go. I'll probably go like for half a day and then bounce.
So this seems like enough lunch and then bounce.
Oh man. I mean, I would say 7th, 8th grade, I was going a lot. By 9th grade, it was a wrap. High school, I mean, I don't even know how well, I didn't make it out of high school, so that's another part of it. But
were the kids in your neighborhood go to the same school? Were you
yeah. Everyone is like around in the same schools. So I went to like 3 different local schools because I got kicked out of the first 2.
Why? What did you kick out of the first one for?
First one,
I got at the age of 10?
I think I was probably like 13, 14. Now it's 9th grade, so I got kicked out. I'm just fighting. That's what it was. Yeah, I got kicked out of fighting.
Hot temper.
Oh yeah. I was. Man, you couldn't even look at me the wrong way. It was over.
On site.
Yeah, on site. Like, let's go. And then on top of that, it didn't help that me and my boys, we thought we was like karate experts, so we wanted to we would go downtown to 40 Deuce, watch some 2 karate flicks for free, come out, grab some ninja stars and all that, walking up the block.
With ninja stars.
You know, back then in the Deuce, they used to sell the ninja stars and all that. Yeah, we was on that, man. We was on that.
Ninja stars.
Word.
Those things are hard to throw too.
Yeah, we was on it, man. We was in the back throwing them things, man. We had the what was those blades? The
nunchucks, right?
Nah, we ain't mess with that. The switch blades, the butterfly knives.
Oh, when you can flip.
Oh, bro, I was doing that like in class. Yo, pulling out the butterfly knife, like, yo, that was wild. Teachers like, yo. But yeah, the fighting thing was real, man, because it was so many different cliques back then, and, you know, and then, you know, you just wanted to be that dude, you know what I'm saying, to be walking around, and, you know, some dudes needed to, you know, get a punch in the face.
Were you angry after 9? Do you think you were angry because of your mother and you never could express it to anybody? Like, did you ever have a person you could talk to, or you, like, kept that in with you?
See, that's the thing, man. I'm definitely mad about, you know, the situation what happened with my moms and everything else. And I think that I know what happened is, and I was actually thinking about this a couple of weeks ago. Like, if you are in a place where you're angry and you don't have someone to actually vent that out to and be able to talk through those emotions, you're going to hold them in. But if you do have someone to talk to those emotions, that person that's actually listening has to be able to give you positive feedback.
Gotcha.
And not be like, yo, nah, I feel you, but yo, let's go do this. And for me, I had a bunch of, you know, older dudes than me, but they weren't positive.
Okay.
You know? Like, they like, yo, you mad? Word? Yo, you see that dude? Go smack him. You know, like that.
Take your frustration out of him.
So that's how it was. It wasn't like some positive feedback, like, nah, bro, let's talk about this. You know, this is what we need to do. Let's really talk about why you're upset right now. You know, just take your time and let's focus on it and then let that go. it wasn't like that. It was used like a what they said. They put the battery on your back. Let's charge this kid up. You know
and
what I'm saying?
you all males too. It's an all males, all male house, so no one.
Yeah, it wasn't. My dad wasn't around because he was working. God bless him because he did what he had to do for the family. But it was me and my younger brother, and my younger brother was still in the little kid stuff, and because I was the only other person, I was trying to be that, the father figure and everything else, but I didn't know how to do that.
So you raised him.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I took care of him, but that was the thing. So that's how it starts, right? So you get into this place where someone, your father or your mother not around, and then you're like, all right, so I need to step up and take care of things, but then you don't have someone to help you through those things.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was do the things that I saw and knew. So go on the block and hustle, right? Go on the block and hustle. And then how do I deal with these type of emotions or, so I'm not going to let anyone front on me. I'm going to just, if I got to get into it, I'm going to get into it. And, I'm going to be proud about that. You know what I'm saying? So that was the things of just like not understanding, like not having someone there to actually talk to you and talk through those things and everything else, And my dad used to be like, yo, you just got to chill. You can't be doing that. But at that point, I was already too far. You know what I'm saying? I'm making crazy money.
Were you, before you started making the crazy money, so 10, your first lookout job?
Yeah. That was wild.
Did they just know you? They just knew, like, oh, Tom's good?
Yeah,
what was your nickname? Did they give you a nickname?
After a while, my nickname was Tommy Gunz.
Tommy Gunz.
Yeah, that was later on, but that was just what it meant.
You don't gotta say it. We know it's going.
yeah, that's what
smart audience.
So
you look out.
Yeah.
What was like? Do you remember your emotions at the time? Were you like anxious? Do you remember just like, oh, this is what I gotta do?
I was good. I already knew. I knew how cops was rolling through. I knew how they were doing the undercover stuff. I mean, I was actually really good.
At 10.
Lookout was real. I was good.
At 10.
Everybody was like, yo, get little man with us.
Okay.
He good. Because I'm spying them from deep.
But how did you know, though? You just in your neighborhood. You just always walk around and just...
Yeah, I just knew and just, I was always,
aware.
You had to be anyway just to make sure that, whatever's around, around you got to be aware of, like, what's happening. Like, you can't be in a place and be naive to, like, something could pop off. It might not be with you or anything else, but you can get caught up in the mix. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example, and I don't think this is, like... So, I'm hanging out in front of my boys' building on the stoop, hanging out. There's young dudes and a bunch of, older dudes, and they doing their thing, and there was a robbery starting to happen. So I already saw, because I seen this dude like with a hoodie walking from the corner into the block where everyone is hustling at. And I see him, but he's walking in a way like he's directing him. Right. Yeah, he's just like, yo, it doesn't feel right. So I tapped my man, I'm like, yo, something's about to go down. And then we told one of the olders, like, yo, look at homeboy across the street, keep an eye out. So when I started talking like that, my boy, I looked at him like, yo, come on, let's keep walking. Because I was like, yo, this is about to turn off. So, yo, right when all that started happening, homeboy pulled out a gun trying to rob the dude. My man, one of the kids, older dudes across the street, pulled out a gun, and he started blasting this dude. Dude had a vest and all that. But at the end of the day, me and my man, he had a vest. They was vests all. Man, dudes had a lot of stuff going on back there. We would just start running. So I started running towards my house because I didn't live on that block where I hung out at. I lived like a block away. So I started running. And then, after a few hours or whatever, we come back. I start hearing that one of the older dudes from our block got hit. And he got hit in the head. Mm. But the dude survived. Like, yo, like the dude, got hit in the head. They was like, yo, his brain, like his head was split open. And the dude was trying to get himself up. Like, real, like that. And he's still running around now. I mean, he's probably like in his 60s or whatever it is, 70s. But yeah, man, he got hit in the head. And that was like a perfect example of like how things were back then, man. You just can't be naive to your surroundings. You gotta be aware about everything. So like just to back to like the police thing. That's just was natural for a lot of kids that's running through the neighborhood like that. That's like 6 cents, man. You got to keep that going.
Everything, yeah,
Yeah.
So 10, then we get to 11. So after you go through 10, how many lookup jobs do you have? How much are you getting paid for these lookout jobs? Like,
oh yeah, that lookout was like I think it
Marlboro
was
Lights.
nah, man. We was about $150.
That ain't bad.
Yeah, for like
3
6 hours or something like that.
At 10, at 8, yeah, 10.
Yeah, man. So I started throwing that money in my sneaker. That was my safe.
Did your dad ever know that you had it?
He
had an
found
idea?
out. He found out when he went into the room. And before I had a lock on the room, but he was like, "Yo, you can't be locking your room no more, man. Like I don't,
Uh-huh.
So he came in and he was just like, "Yo, where you get all this money from?" I probably had like maybe 2,000 or something like that in there. And I'm like, "Nah, I was doing some other jobs, or whatever." And he was like, but he already heard like, the older people in the neighborhood were already, let him know like, "Yo, your son is out here,
Being a lookout.
Yeah, well, doing a lookout, doing all this other crazy stuff,
So how old were you when he first caught you with money?
Probably around 12.
12.
Yeah.
Did he confiscate it or he was?
I don't even remember if he took it. He probably did, because we needed money, So I mean, I wasn't like trying to hold money from him. I actually was trying to make money so I could
help him.
Yeah.
So that's a strange, you know what I mean, for him, knowing that his 11-year-old son is pretty much providing.
I mean, it was
extra money in the house.
Yeah, it was definitely.
No need to buy groceries and stuff. You were.
I was buying groceries. We had like a messed up toilet, didn't flush for like a year, so we would actually have to use a bucket to flush the toilet down. Fill it up with water, flush it.
Mm-hmm.
I got that fixed. There was some like other stuff in the apartment that needed to get fixed. I paid some dude to come and fix. So like I wasn't just getting money and just going and blow it or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I just trying to take care of the apartment, get that fixed, have him good, bought him sheets for his bed and all that stuff, food,
like
just
a second dad in the house.
I mean, it was, I was just trying, I mean, for me, I wanted it, I wanted a good, at least live somewhat good in where I'm staying at, but, definitely, for my dad, and so he ain't had the stress. Yeah, so that was pretty young, but then things started to get heavy, man. So
what? We go to 10, so 11.
So 10, 11, 12.
Cops never frisked you at 11 or never?
Nah, man, I got thrown up against the wall and all that around that time. But
they were aware of you, so they knew that this young kid.
I mean, you standing on the same corner.
But were you a small kid, like?
Nah, I was big.
So that's what I'm saying. Like most adolescents are like there's some big boys down south, and like some of these kids now look like little kids, like 11.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like like a big dude. Like I was
tall.
Yeah, I was pretty tall for my age, So, yeah, man. But that was what I was doing for a couple of years. But I tell you though, what's wild, even though I was doing that, and back and forth. I was back and forth to school when I went to school and everything else. And then the after school program was also still in effect. And we used to go there to play basketball. So I was doing this hustling. When I wasn't hustling, I'm going to after school program to play ball, do all this stuff. So I was around some other men that were starting to like be in my life a little bit more. But yeah, it was wild because if I look at it, it was like just two different lives, you know what I'm saying? So I'll be on the block hustling, doing that stuff, but then I go into the after school program and be a kid.
Right.
And still, so I learned how to do both during that time.
Assimilate to different.
Different ones. Yeah. I mean, to the point where they had, they had like a hockey program, ice hockey program, and I was playing ice hockey.
Just out on the ice.
Yeah. But I was good, bro. Like legit,
nice ducks.
Like that, seriously. And I was so good that I was like able to get into like, I was supposed to go to like these private schools and stuff. I never did, but I traveled, Canada, play hockey, Lake Placid, California. So that was like my first time like actually traveling and all that stuff.
And meeting new people too. So you're probably meeting like people from different neighborhoods.
Yeah. That was like my first exposure of not being in this like.
Did it open you up to like different years like?
Yeah, it opened me up, definitely. I mean, it kept me from, this 5 block radius that I was used to, 5-10 block radius that's where I was living and that was my world, to like being able to see how different people lived and all that stuff. But all it did was just push like more ambition, because of where I was at, I was just like, all right, so how I'm going to get all these nice things.
Mm-hmm.
So it just made me hustle harder, you know what I mean?
What was it like when you're, because hockey is more dominated by like the lighter shaded people.
Bro, they used to call me
So
Spick. Yo,
No,
these
they didn't.
parents was like, you
No.
Spick.
Really?
Like that.
The opposing parents or the parents on the...
Opposing parents. It was only Spanish and black.
Oh, okay. I thought
on
you were
the
like
team.
with like the white kids.
No,
but-
it was. So this program was only for minorities
Okay.
in the neighborhood. So all my friends, we all went and played in
Okay.
this hockey program, and then we would travel to different, like Long Island, like
Okay,
different
yeah.
Connecticut, and play against teams, and majority were all white. But we were good. We weren't like bad.
No, you guys are like, yeah.
Yeah,
Taught
but
you fundamentals.
yo, it was wild, and it was just like, cause we ain't really know like that racist thing. Like
This is the early 80s? Late 90s?
this is
Late early 80s?
late '80s, early '90s.
And it was like that in New York? Like racism was just prevalent?
But it wasn't really prevalent to where we were seeing it on a daily basis. But when we went out
Wow.
to these other, oh yeah, it was on. It was on. But we were wild. For me, like, so your hockey stick, you needed to have like this rubber piece
Right.
to put on the end.
Mm-hmm.
I would take that off and leave, and then some people would cut their stick to fit, their length. I would leave it long, because when I used to check these kids, I used to have an extra piece of hockey stick and spear them when I checked them. So that's how I moved around, bro. We were wilding.
It's like, don't get it twisted.
Oh, we were
We're
doing.
still on the block.
Yo, we were doing it. We were playing the game, but we were some dirty kids. Like, yo, you kids, because they were all, the N word,
Yeah.
Spick, that was coming out.
From the parents. Oh,
And the
from
kids too.
Dang.
Yo,
No, I could. They're like, remember the Titans. Just like wild. Just even
Bro.
wilder.
so like, it sounds like a movie, but it's like legit.
But those kids probably didn't even know they're in more danger than what they were. Because if you take off the ice, most of you boys are all from the same block.
Bro, it was like, yo, we're gonna beat you up and we're gonna beat your father up. That's how it was.
It was.
And the men that was with us, they were from the neighborhood too, but they were just like,
Trying to calm y'all
it
down.
was
or-
like, yo, y'all gotta chill, man. We can't be taking y'all with. Yo, they took us to the spot.
Y'all gotta chill.
They took us to the spot in Connecticut, and a whole bunch of us. First time we like really left New York or whatever, and we went to the hotel because we had like a 3-day tournament to play. When we left that hotel,
Uh-huh.
the hotel manager had to call the director. He was like, your kid stole everything in the room. Yo, dudes are coming out with the clock.
Taking all the towels.
Taking all the towels, everything. My man tried to take the TV. Yo, the big
It
tube
wasn't even
TV.
flat screen TV. He took those wide box
Yo.
TV. He tried to take a wide.
He tried to take the TV. I was like, yo,
It's
friend,
stuck
you
to the
can't.
wall.
Oh, man. Yeah, but that was the funniest thing ever. But it was funny. But now I look at it, man, this dude that ran the program with us, like, he was just he's still a great dude. But like his face of like shame and embarrassment, oh man.
Where are they from again?
Yeah, he was just like, and for like weeks, we would just have these like meetings, and he was like, I can't take you MFs nowhere. And yo, we'd be in the back screaming. But yo, you look at it now and we're like, man. And I joke with him too, man, because they have these like alumni nights, and we go, and we're just like, yo, you remember this? He's like, yeah, you MF still. Yo, he ain't
Put
never
the
get over
goons on the
that.
ice.
Yo.
He put the goons on the
Oh
ice.
man, yeah, that time was wild, man. But that's what I'm saying. Like, so my life was like dealing with that. It was just like, yo, in the street we hustling. I'm trying to get money for the crib, do all this stuff, but I'm still trying to be a kid. So I'm doing all this other stuff. But at a certain point, all that started like, I guess.
Did the hockey start mixing you with people in your neighborhood that you would never see? And that's how you would be able to move, because you knew people from different areas. Because your hockey team was probably people who weren't in your neighborhood, correct? They're on your block, but probably not.
No, I think the hockey helped me meet different people outside of the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So it made me see like how people moved around outside of what we were doing.
Okay.
So everyone that was on the team or doing that, like we all was living the same, same stuff. Not everyone was hustling because it was only a handful of us that was actually, like in that space. Like yo, we just gonna hustle. A lot of them had their parents, So it was a lot of good kids on the team that just were just being kids.
Okay.
But yeah, at a certain point, I mean, I think like around 14, 15, they had me go to. He wanted me to go represent the program in like California or Lake Placid for one of these. So I was big already. You know what I'm saying? I knew the game. I played it right and everything else. And I was just like, yo, we was getting like old equipment from the New York Rangers and donations and all that stuff. I was like, yo, I got money. I went and bought myself all new equipment. Yo, fresh. Yo, I was fresh. Yo. He was like, yo, where you get all this? I'm like, I spent like $1,500 on brand new.
Sponsored.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, yo, what you doing? But like the people in the program, they already knew like I was already, because I'm running around with Cuban links and all this stuff. Yo, it was like crazy.
Big Daddy K.
Yo, it was wild, man. It was wild. But yeah, that's what it was.
So you're flashy. Were you flashy or just?
I mean, I think there was some.
Cuban link, the big thick ones.
Yeah. Those are the those were no joke, man.
$3,000.
Yeah. I don't know if it was flashy. I wasn't as flashy as a lot of dudes that out there. I think you just needed to show like where you were at. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if you out here in the streets, you're doing this. When you go out, you go back home after you take off your hustle clothes, like your work clothes.
Right.
Then you go home, you get fresh, throw on the new kicks, new sweatsuit, because that's what it was. Oh man,
Kango suit.
Yeah, sweatsuit is the Gap joint though. The Gaps are fresh. So we get the new sweatsuit, new kicks, fresh cut, throw on your jewelry, and then you go back on the same block you hustled. You go back on that block and you hang out, and then you go to the liquor store. And what we used to do, we used to, buy bottles. But we used to buy bottles, cases of Moet, and then pop the bottles on the corner.
Like your championship.
Yeah, that was like every day.
A great night of hustling.
Yo, that was it. It was wild, bro. But yeah, that was the same thing, man. And then we were young, so the club scene, we used to hit the clubs because one of our boys was a DJ. So we used to go with him. And that time, DJing, dudes used to carry like
crates
of records. 6, 7 crates, heavy joints.
Heavy band.
Yeah, so we used to be like, nah, we going. So we go and grab a crate and just walk right in. And that's how we got into the spots.
15-year-olds
party.
party.
Word. That's how it was.
Could you tell the difference between Harlem hustlers and Brooklyn hustlers? What was it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, man, I'm trying to like keep this. I mean, I think it was just, and you could ask a Brooklyn dude or whatever. I just think it was a different vibe from how they roll. It was just like, it was a lot more. I felt like some griminess into like their hustle, more for like, yo, I see what you got, I'm gonna take it from you, versus like dudes in my hand, like, yo, I see what you got, oh, I'm gonna get it so I can get it more than you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like that type of attitude. But I think it all spanned across. It wasn't like really like, only robbing dudes from Brooklyn. Dudes in my hand were robbing like that. You know what I'm saying? East Side and all that. But
this guy in my neighborhood goes, we didn't go to Brooklyn at all. He goes, when we went to Brooklyn, he said we knew that we can. He goes, I stayed in Harlem.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's
so
real.
You just stayed inside your area, just like
you
wouldn't.
You couldn't go. I mean, to me growing up, it was like East Side. We didn't even go to the West Side of Harlem. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So to split from how it was from 96th Street to 128th, from 5th to Pleasant Avenue was Spanish Harlem, and then everything on west of 5th Avenue was Harlem, and then you get into West Harlem the further you go west, and then the more you go uptown, then you get into past 145th or 155th, then you get into like Washington Heights and all that. So like you didn't really go to these different areas because everyone's doing things different, so they had their own clique. So we didn't really go to the West Side unless there was some beef or something going on.
Right.
And then when you go uptown to Washington Heights, because that's where the plugs are at. So you're going up there to grab, and come back down. So That's what it was.
Did you ever play in Rucker Park before? Was that a big thing?
Rucker Park was a big thing. Yeah, that
As
was
you were
real.
playing basketball, did you ever?
I didn't play in Rucker. I mean, I was good. I'm balling, but you had stars in that joint. You know what I'm saying? Like that was different.
Real, yeah.
It was real. It was real deal over there. Like you wasn't just going to play over there. You know, unless you was like in the younger kid tournament. But like the unlimited, like nah, it was a lot of money involved in that game.
So everybody, that's what those guys. Illegal gambling. There we go. Rucker Park.
Man, it was money over there. Dude, side bets, it was real.
So we get to 14, 15. When was the first time you had like an encounter with the police? Do you remember your first time?
Oh yeah, I got arrested when I got arrested when what was my first case? First case, I think I was 12.
12 years old? Did they try to try you as an adult, or they knew you were a child?
Nah, my first offense, a kid. I went to the family court, but I got caught with crack, so they hit me with that. And then my dad went and got me and let me go.
What did he say?
He was just like, "Yo, you gotta be careful." He already like knew. He was just like, "Yo, you gotta be careful. You can't get caught up in all this stuff." You know. He was like, "All right, I gotta go to work."
Well, how?
I'll see you later. Stay out of trouble, son.
He said, "Stay out." Give me that $300.
Word. How much you made?
Pay your 10th to give your first fruit to me.
Word.
But how did you graduate? How did so you graduated from a watch out, a lookout. Then you went to.
Oh, I went straight to like looking out to straight like.
They like let a kid start selling crack, or they knew like you had to prove yourself, right? I know.
I mean, it was anyone
or did you
selling.
Your
it
way
was
in?
just what the chain of command was. Anyone can sell. It's the one who was managing them.
Okay.
So if you was managing them, that means you was getting a percentage off of each pack sold, and the dude that was selling was making their money off of whatever. But they were the ones that would give you all the money for the pack. And then you go and turn that in and then go to the fresh pack. So there was a whole business strategy behind all that.
Well, how long did it take for you to climb up the ranks?
It was pretty quick. I mean, it was just
quick, like 2 years or quicker than that?
So it was like from me when starting out lookout, and then, in between those 2 years when I was doing it, because it wasn't like every day. It was just like, when I come, boom, boom, boom. But definitely when I really started going in, it was just like, yo, I need to. And they were just like, nah, Tom, you good. This is your shift.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like that. So.
But how old were you when you became a manager?
Yeah, I would say
snow manager.
Yeah, I would say that 14, 15, probably about 14. Yeah.
How many people did you have under you?
It all depend on like
the
day and who was out there and whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, it was weird about it. It's like I was in the middle of when I started doing the lookout stuff was really in the crack era, and then from the crack era I went more into the heroin era. So I was straggling between the two, and then wound up just staying in the heroin era.
Which one was more lucrative?
Man, I mean,
didn't matter.
Yeah, that was just a lot of money. I think for me, heroin era started because I was more involved in it, so I was making a lot more money because now I wasn't just like, like a lookout, a regular dude. I was like, yo, this is what I'm doing,
What's the most you ever had in your hand?
Man,
money-wise.
I had $200K under my bed. Yeah. Word.
Just sitting under your bed.
Under my bed. That was wild. Yeah.
Nobody knew about it, or everybody knew?
Nah, nobody knew. Just
not even your little brother.
Nah.
Because you had your own room, right?
Yeah, I had my own room, but
and the lock on it. That's when you start putting the lock on it.
Yeah, but I actually moved out of my dad's place when I was like 15, because I got into with one of these a girl from the hood. She was older than me. She was like 20, 21.
You're dating a 21 girl at 16.
Yeah, I moved in with her, and she already had 2 kids.
He was
So I was stepdad.
Daddy daycare.
You know,
at 16.
Yeah, and she had
Two kids.
my older kids. I had 2 older kids.
Wait, so she had 2. So she's 22.
21. I was
21.
about 14, 21. Yeah.
Did she know you were 14 or?
Yeah, but I was that,
Right, you're that dude.
I was
I'm
that
the
dude.
crack manager.
Yeah. So she was, she was my homeboy's girl at one point.
How'd you meet? Actually, he introduced me to her.
Yo, it was wild. Like, I used to be like.
How did you meet her? Like, what?
She was on the same block. She was hanging out, or whatever. But I think what happened was I was cool with her kids. Like, they would be in the park. I'll be in the park playing with them. Like, I was like a little older brother. I don't know, I guess. But at one point, I guess she started seeing me from like that young dude to like that older dude to like, so, and that was it,
like Star Wars.
Word. And then, it was one thing led to another, and it was just like, that was it.
So her 2 older kids were like what, 5, 6? 7?
5. No, when I got with her, the kids were 3 and 1.
Oh, they're babies.
Yeah.
So you raised them.
I raised them pretty much. Yeah.
You still have that relationship with them?
Yeah. Not as I wanted to be, but still had a relationship. And they fathers them around. So me and they
were
father.
at your wedding, right? One of them was, right?
I don't think they made it. No, I don't think they came. But yeah. I mean, we're pretty good. I mean, as far as like, when I see them or whatever, always say what's up. The older one is locked up right now, but he should be home soon. I actually need to go see him. But I'm cool with their father too, you know what I'm saying? So like, even though like I was there taking care of the kids, me and the kid's father like became real cool, you know what I'm saying? So, it was just a thing where this is me in this space, and and I never like pushed them away or anything like that. So
you were the big homie.
Yeah, and we just cool, I mean, I consider him like a brother, you know what I'm saying? So he was a good dude,
Did your little brother ever just wonder like why you left?
Nah, he was happy I was out too.
He
So
had his own room.
Yeah, he was like, he's good.
There's a system in your house.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy to get their own room.
Nah, he was good because he was able to have all his homies and all that stuff in there, which that was crazy. But
so you got $200K under the bed.
Yeah, man.
How much do you give to your dad every month? Do you just go and?
I was paying the rent, and I was paying whatever he needed, so he didn't really have to pay for anything at the crib. But
you took the burden off his back, though. You took the burden off.
Yeah. That was definitely something that I was doing. But then he moved in with me in my baby mother's crib and all that.
How nice was her house?
Man, we had a 6-bedroom duplex, triplex
in New York City.
Yo, on that rent control, it was real.
We had a duplex,
triplex. We had 3 floors, bro. We had one.
Where is this at? What? You're still in Harlem?
Still in Harlem. Yeah.
3 floors? It's like those brownstone buildings, like.
Nah, man. This is in the Taino Towers, the big buildings that's on East Side. Yeah.
So it's 3 stories.
There's 4 towers on the East Side. It's right across the street from the projects, and one of the buildings has 6-bedroom triplexes on 1, 2, 3 floors in the building. So she had, because she lived there with her moms and her sister and everything else. So they had that type of apartment, but then when, her mom's passed and then her father passed and then the sister started moving out, she was there and then I was there and then we just had kids. So we had
large.
It was wild. And the rent was nothing. So we was good. We was living it up.
Did your little brother come live with you guys too?
Nah. He stayed
in the house by himself?
Yeah, he stood wherever he could because he was grimy, that little dude. I love him. He's a man of God, but I love him.
How different? So when you were out there hustling, what was he like?
Oh, he was
Did he
in
ever
the mix.
visit you, or he
was in the mix. He was hustling
underneath you?
Not underneath me. He was trying to, carve his own way,
okay,
doing what he's doing.
But you always looked out for him to make sure.
I mean, I just make sure he wasn't getting, jerked or, he wasn't getting, snatched up for some money or something like that. Yeah. So, but Yeah,
Did he ever tell you were influenced on him, or you knew you were influenced on him?
I don't know. I think I mean I would assume that I was an influence on him because it's my brother. But I mean, this just the neighborhood, man. Just like where we walked into every day, it was just
Right.
like like it's hard to get out of that.
Right.
It's you see it every day. You see the homies out there every day. You know what I'm saying? And just you don't have nothing else, man. I don't know how you not get into that.
What made you stay away from using drugs?
Because
You
we
see,
knew
like-
what it was. I mean, it was
Okay.
just like that was passed down from the old dudes too. Like you hustle to get your money.
Don't ever use.
Yeah, use it because once you start, you ain't got no more money because now you spending your money on that. So I think that was like the big part of it. So just seeing what it was doing. Yeah.
So by like 17, you had your own corporation, pretty much. You
17,
You had a small business.
I had a small business. I was a small business owner.
So you had a small business owner.
Yeah.
Tax-free money.
Yeah. We was doing
HR
it.
department. You were the HR.
I was HR. I was finance, accounting, payroll. I was all that.
How did you have an office inside the house, or just like that little?
Nah, we just had different stash apartments.
Do you remember those
trap
little
houses.
green hat? You know those hats that people use.
Oh, nah,
Did
we
you
didn't do
ever
that.
have? You ever
Nah, we
had
didn't do
crunching
that.
numbers?
We were definitely in the accounting money phase, just making sure that money was right for the connect. Yeah, so that was definitely part of it.
Did anyone ever short you, or you trusted your crew?
Ah, man, short money was always, it's just you just have to be on top of all that stuff. But money changes everything, And it was just your homies that you play hockey with and you hang out with and you do all this stuff and but that money changes, man, So you go into a spot where it's just like you used to break bread with this brother and you be in a crib, the mom's feeding you and y'all laughing and they're watching TV and then that money gets in the way of all that, Now you're talking about, nah, man, I ain't messing with you, man, this money is envious, you start getting into that world. So yeah, you lose a lot of friendships behind it. You know what I'm saying? So
Was it the greed of what you've accomplished, or just the greed of just them? The money is inside their head.
I think it's both. I think there's always envy in that world. I think everyone wants to do better than the next dude next to them and who they see, and then you want to get as much money as you can. So.
Did you ever feel like somebody was just out there watching out for you?
I mean, I had to have someone watching out to me, man, because I was in some places where I was just like, how did I get out of this? Right. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, I knowing what I know now, I know God was over me, because I was in some real bad places, man, that I shouldn't even be here right now, so. Yeah.
How did when you had your first child? That's your daughter.
My son. Yeah.
He's the oldest.
Yeah.
How did that change you? Having your first child. How old were you when you had your first son?
I was 17.
Oh wow.
17 when my son was born. Yeah.
What do you remember the news? What she told you? What was that like?
I'm trying to see. Yeah, it was dope. It was exciting. The thing was, I didn't want to tell my dad. I was worried to tell my dad. And I'm like, I'm doing all this other stuff.
Else. So he's gonna be a granddad.
But when I told him, he was like, all right. He's like, you're a man. Just you gotta make sure you take care of your kid. Cause he's like, I'm not. No, but he was.
I gotta go to work.
Yeah, I gotta go to work. He was good. I mean, it was wild though, right? Because I'm just like, I'm doing all this crazy stuff, running around, and then the one thing I was afraid to tell my dad was like, I'm about to have a kid. But I knew the seriousness of that. It wasn't like, because I had 2 stepkids already. I'm in the house.
But how did that change you having your own first blood?
Yeah, I mean, it just put me in a place of like, I really got to get this money. I got to refocus on what I was doing.
But did you have enough? $200,000. Was that enough?
But
it wasn't nothing. Did it feel like $20,000?
I mean, it just felt because I was, at the same time you're making that money, you're spending money. As fast as it comes in, it goes.
Fast as it goes.
Yeah. So that money that I had, I try to. At one point, I probably like try to sit on it for a little bit, and then I was like, yo, I can't like do anything. I got to keep making money. You know what I'm saying? And then you get into different things. You trying to make more money. You wind up losing money. And you still partying. You still hanging out. So all that stuff affected that. And that money that I had, I mean, I definitely went through more than that, but that was like the most I had, like in one
setting.
Yeah, one shot. So
you have your son.
Yeah.
Hustling harder. When did she tell you have your daughter?
But before I had my daughter, my dad had passed away.
Okay.
Yeah. So
was he sick or just?
He had a heart attack. So he had diabetes and stuff. But yeah, he passed away, and actually at the apartment, like he washing old school, so he'll wash his own clothes by hand. And then, but I was on my block, like playing cards or something like that, spades, something like that. And they had, like, someone that came and told me, ran back to the crib, and I had him in my arms.
Oh, wow.
I saw like the last breath.
You held him as it.
Yeah, it was wild. So that put me in like, that really put me in a totally different place. Because I used to drink, but I wasn't, like, drinking like that.
Was that the first time you started?
I was drinking, like, every day.
When your dad passed away?
Yeah. So
that was your man.
Yeah,
He was everything for you.
We actually, our relationship really got, like just, like, bros. Because, we would watch a baseball game, chill, go to the movies, hang out. Like, he and I did, like, things that, like,
you and your other brothers did.
Yeah. You would just, we would just hang out and talk and chill, and so, and he would give me like advice and like things that I need to be, conscious of and everything else, and always like, hey, I need you to get out this stuff that you're doing. You need to get out of it. Always on that. He never like, we joke, but he didn't condone the stuff that I was doing.
Did he ever tell you he's proud of you? Of the man that you were, like taking care of your kids? Was he? Or did he like being a granddad?
Loved being a granddad. He loved his grandson. He's definitely wanted to do anything for him.
Were you named after him?
I was named after my great grandfather, I believe, Thomas. So the story goes. My name is spelled Thomas. It was supposed to be Tomas, which without the H, so Tomas.
What's the full name?
It's Thomas.
Middle name?
No middle name, just Thomas Rivera. But so because I was born here in the States, the doctor put the H instead of leaving the H out. So that's the story. So it's Thomas, which is cool. I'm cool with it.
Biblical name too.
Yeah. He needed a C.
Yeah, that's
the
crazy.
Messiah.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy about his story and how you had to get proof as well.
Yeah, I needed proof.
You needed proof.
Yeah.
He physically needed proof.
Yeah. So
Dad, you start. Did you ever drink beers with your dad?
No.
Never drank with you?
Never drank with my dad. He never drank with me. He wasn't a big drinker either. I think I seen him probably drunk like one time.
So like,
and that was actually at my my baby shower. He was drunk because he was so like having a good time.
Everybody was happy.
Yeah.
You did it, Tom.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the first time I seen him drunk ever. So yeah, he wasn't. I mean, so the type of man he was like he had a I guess a girlfriend, a woman, but never brought her around us because of the respect he had for our mother. And for
okay.
Like he wasn't like replacing our mother with nobody. So when we talked to him, and like the love that he talked about our moms, like that stood. But he's a man and he needed to have a relationship, and he did that, but never brought it.
I never saw any of his girlfriends.
Never. Not until he passed away that I saw this woman come in, said me and your dad were really close.
Oh,
that was it.
That was respectful.
Yeah. So that's the type of man he was. So solid dude, solid. Yeah, so that was around 17. He passed, so that put me in like a spiral.
Did everybody come back for the funeral, or your older brother, the one in the
Yeah,
Navy?
yeah, I think they both came back. So we all have the same mother but different fathers. So me and my younger brother have the same father, and then my two older brothers have two different fathers. So my mother had 3 baby daddies. But yeah, he took care of them too. He raised those. My
He's
older
like
two.
his own.
Yeah. So I believe they came back. I mean, it was so wild during that time. You know, I was like, I got arrested the day of the funeral.
You didn't make it to your dad's funeral?
No, I did. So we in a cab, and the cab was like giving me some. I mean, I know it was on me, but like I was trying to tell him to take me somewhere. He didn't want to take me, and I was upset. And I punched him in the face. I got arrested. The police officers knew that I had the funeral, and they let me go and gave me a ticket.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like, you got to come back to court, but here's a ticket, go to the funeral and all that stuff. So that's
So
how
they
I
arrested you, and you just told them, oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's grace.
Yeah. Real grace.
That's real grace.
So I was all, with a suit and everything else. But when I left out of there, I went home, changed. So I went up to my father's funeral with a hoodie. I was hoodied out, looking like
he took the suit off.
Yeah, I took the suit off. It was like in my Timbs and a hoodie.
How did the cab driver call the police so fast?
I think the police just came out of nowhere. I don't know. They must have saw something. But like, homeboy was just like back and forth, and I was just like, yo, bro, just take me over here. And like so, before they have the windows, the glass windows between the seats.
Oh yeah.
So he had opened it a little bit, and I and I two-pieced them right between
through
that,
the square.
right through the square.
Right through the square.
Man, I'm sorry, man, brother. I'm really sorry.
You
about
hit him
that.
through the squares.
Yeah.
And then you close the square back.
I bust his eye open or something like that. So, but
they let you go to the funeral.
Yeah, let me
You
go to
just
the funeral.
changed it back to it. You was like, let me put a hoodie on.
I was like, man, I'm in the hoodie. I'm Tim's. I'm on the funeral. Everyone looking at me like, yo, this dude just came out of precinct and like, but everyone knew like what I was going through. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
pay for the funeral.
My dad was definitely good at like life insurance and all that stuff. So he took care of all that. Yeah, he made sure all that was covered and all that. So I left her some money.
What did so after your father passes away, what are those days like? Just days alone? Did you just want to be out of the house, be by yourself, or?
Yeah, I was definitely out.
Take any time for yourself, or you just like, because you're 17, you're like getting into adulthood.
Yeah, so I mean,
But you're already an adult. But I mean, like technically, developmentally, you're just like.
Yeah, I mean, it was just all
really
about
27, pretty much.
Yeah,
you're 17.
I'm just in there, just getting money and doing what I'm doing, and but drinking and partying, and coming home. I always try to come home, make sure I'm there for my son when he wakes up, whatever. And that went on for years. I mean,
what did your girl at the time say? Was she just like, stop the drinking, or?
I mean, it was. I don't really know. Like, I know she was just always mad because I was just like, and I was doing things like I shouldn't be doing, man. I was just out, be like, yeah, I'll be home in a little bit. Be back
2 weeks later.
Yo, one time I was like, my boys are going to Miami. I'm like, man, I need to go to this trip. Everyone's going down there. And she was just giving me mad stuff like, yo, you can't go. Got the baby, this is that. You can't just leave, this is that. I'm like, yo, everyone going. I'm going to be back in a week. She's like, nah. I was like, all right. When it was like, told my man, I'm like, yo, book me a ticket. Did that. Just like the day of, I was like, hey, I'm going to be back. I'm going to go get the baby milk. I just left. Got on a flight to Miami.
I went to go get the baby milk.
Yo, that was it.
It's in Florida.
Yo, wasn't from Miami. And that time, you was able to drink on the plane, like really bring the bottle on the plane and all that. Yo, we was so chopped up on the plane. It was crazy. Me and my man, and it's still my boy to this day, we drank so much that we had like alcohol poisoning.
In Miami?
In Miami. Like we were up for like 2.5 days straight till we couldn't go no more, and then we wound up in the room, and to the point it was like, yo, I think we need to go to the hospital. We drank so much champagne. I mean, it was just like crazy. That's another story, bro.
Did they have cell phones then?
Yeah, cell phones.
So
I
did you
threw my
call
cell
back?
phone in the garbage when I got there, because she kept blowing it up, and I was like, yo. I threw that in the garbage. I'm like, I'm out here. I'm doing it.
I don't got. Someone stole my phone.
Yeah, it was wild. We was out there. My man was so lit. One of those days, he came down in a 3-piece suit. It was like 97 degrees outside. He was like, yo, I'm looking fresh. I'm like, yo, my man, if you don't go back upstairs with that suit. We out here in wife beaters, and he out here in a 3-piece suit. He was so drunk.
With a 3-piece suit on.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you, it was so crazy. That's another story right there, man. That Miami trip was just like, dudes talk about that in our neighborhood.
Oh, still?
They still talk.
How many of y'all went?
I mean, it was probably about 10 of us, but
Dang.
I mean, but everyone went down there. So like, even dudes that weren't like really like connected with us were down there.
So it was like spring break.
Oh, it was like spring break for Spanish Harlem. It's crazy.
Everyone on the block got a break.
Word. Everyone was down there. That was just like next level, bro. Next level. Yeah. It's good times though.
You get back, how do you put out those fires? Like, oh, hey, I got you a present.
Ah, man, I don't even know. I know that was like the start and the end of the relationship. So, I mean, it was just like, come back, just curse you out and all that. And I'm like, yo, whatever, man. What we need? You need anything for the crib? All right, whatever, I'm out. See you later. Like.
When did you make your daughter? But when does your daughter come? It's 2 years apart from your son?
Yeah, she's 3 years. So that was probably like right after that. Right after that trip. My daughter was born. Yeah.
How has your daughter changed you?
I don't know if any of the kids changed me, man. Cause
maybe as an adult, because I'm thinking about when I saw her, because I was at your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I was like standing there watching her because I didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
I was like, who's it? Oh, that's his daughter, because she was crying the whole time.
Yeah. But, I mean, I look, I was always trying to be there for them. And, even when their mother and I split, which that was tough, because, I always wanted to be there for them. And then it was also in the transition of me, like, leaving the street alone. And then,
wow.
like, starting to, like, really focus on, getting a job and doing all this stuff. So I was trying to do things, like, legit. But I was still drinking.
Did you have a number? Like, how did you know to get out of the street? Like, did you have a number? Like, I'm done?
Oh, no, I wasn't. Like, I was broke, bro. Like, I spent money,
it?
man. I spent all that money, and I had a few dollars, but I was like, yo, I need to stop. I'm going to die, or I'm going to be in jail for a long time. So that was it.
How did the higher-ups take your resignation?
I was doing things on my own, so it wasn't like that. It was just me and my man. I told my man, I'm like, yo, I can't do this no more. Like, I don't have the
stamina.
It's not. There's this attitude you need, to move in that space, and there's things that you need to not feel, to move in that space. So when you see somebody hurting, you can't be like, man, this dude is hurting or whatever. Like, so that remorse, all those things that you need to, like, you have to close all that off,
right?
To move in that space, and then the weight of having, you in those shadows and having all that weight of cops and dudes looking to rob you, like, all that is on you every day. You can't sleep, you can't eat, so you're trying to chase this money, but you got all these other things chasing you, and then all these other things are on you. So at one point I was just like, yo, I can't do it.
Probably had PTSD. Post-traumatic stress?
It must have been, because I seen and been and through some stuff, and that was, and it was even, that was like right after, so 17, 18, I got shot in Harlem when I was 20.
Someone, did you know the person who shot you?
Yeah. I knew who shot me and everything else, but like, I got shot.
Is that when you were Tommy Gunz?
Oh, yeah.
It was already Tommy Gunz.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy Gunz was what, 17?
16. Yeah. That was definitely, that was definitely, in that. So, But that's the story.
Did you ever sue somebody for taking your name? You know, there's a rapper named Peter Gunz.
Peter Gunz had that before me.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was good. I ain't. Man, you could take that name. I don't need
It's
it.
over.
Yeah, that's already. Yeah.
Well,
but,
walk us through the day you got shot. Do you remember? You woke up in the morning. What were you doing? You just
at the time I was driving a MPV minivan, so I had that like decked out, whatever. But I'm driving around, regular thing. But the week before that, or 2 weeks before that, the dude that shot me actually shot up the spot that we were in, like having a party or whatever, local party, nothing crazy. But I think his baby moms or whatever is in there, so he must have felt a certain type of way. So he wasn't shooting at me; he was just shooting in the spot.
Mm-hmm.
So after, I was like, I'm gonna take care of this, whatever. But I wasn't like looking to shoot him, and I'm like, I'm just gonna beat him up, But he heard that, he knew
that you were coming.
Yeah, I was coming. So just by coincidence, like, I was driving down one block and I saw him on the payphone, and I just pulled my truck over. I was like, yo, me and you, you gotta see me, that was crazy what you did. But because he already knew, he was already packing, so he thought I was coming to, get him like that, and I wasn't. I was actually just gonna, give him a couple. Yeah, that was it. And as soon as he saw me, turned around, he started firing and just let it go. And I think what saved me was the reaction he had was him not firing and coming up to me, him firing while he was running.
Okay.
So because of that, I still got hit, but I was able to, I threw myself on the floor and then, crawled under my van while he was shooting. But because he was running away, if he was just firing and then came up to me, I was done. I couldn't do anything.
So you just...
Yeah. He was doing that, running
Where
away.
did you get hit at?
I got shot 3 times in my stomach.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So, I was only in the hospital for
How'd you get to the hospital? Did someone call or just
yourself? Yeah. Nah. I was in pretty bad shape, but yeah, they came and picked me up. Ambulance came, got me, and all that. So was in surgery for a few hours, and then don't remember too much. I know I was out for a while, a couple of days.
Is that when everything changed?
Nah,
no.
Got worse. Oh. I thought I was invincible after that.
You 50 Cent.
Yo, it's like, yo, you can't take me down. I'm bulletproof, bro. Yeah, it wasn't. It took me maybe, I was in and out of the hospital for I was in the hospital for maybe 10, 15 days. But at that time, my younger brother actually was saved. He gave himself to the Lord. And
oh, wow.
Yeah. So my brother was wild like me and everything else. But when he got saved, he was that dude that walked around with the biggest Bible you can see.
The ones that be at your grandma's house.
Yo. And I tell you, he walking around and he's like, "Oh, you need prayer," and he hit you with that Bible. That's how he is.
So how was he saying it to you when he got saved?
Oh yeah.
Right,
I used to be like, "Yo, get out of here with that, man." I'm like, "I ain't got no time for that, man. I love you, man, but I can't." I wasn't feeling that at all. I couldn't listen to him. Even my younger brother, he was saying stuff that makes so much sense.
Right.
But back then, I was like, "Yo, bro, you on the block and you doing these things. I got people calling me talking about, yo, you on the block. I don't want you to get hurt." He was like, no, I'm good. Right. I got Jesus with me. I'm not getting hurt like that. I'm not getting hurt. He's like, I'm walking through wherever I want to walk through because God is with me. I was just like, all right, man, I got to talk to you later,
bro. He said, we both invincible.
Yeah. But he was at the hospital every day praying for me.
Got it.
Praying for me.
So he was interceding for you.
Oh, he was.
While you
tongues and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Was not no joke, bro. And I didn't know that until later on. And actually to probably a couple of years ago. But yeah, that's what he was doing. And so yeah, I got out the hospital and I'm still, had a bum leg for a little bit because I got hit in a nerve that messed me up. But
to this day, do you have any? Or you're good, completely healed?
Yeah, I mean, my bladder is not as big as it was, because I got hit in the bladder, which is the only vital organ that I got hit. Everything else is passed through different tissues and everything. So I gotta pee every 5 minutes. So
And you've gotten older too. That
and
happens.
I'm older. That's
that happens
another
to
thing
older
too. So,
people. Yeah.
If I
Depends.
drink before I go to bed, I'm up all night. Seriously. Yeah, man. So yeah, but that was
So 5. So you stopped. So you completely stopped hustling.
I stopped hustling.
What was your first job that you applied for?
What was my
Legit.
first job?
Because you have all these qualities, you just can't put it on your resume.
Nah.
It says here that you're a head of
yeah.
HR.
Word. I think my first job was my brother. My older brother was doing like work in the stock exchange for a commodity stocks company, and I don't know how he got me connected, but I got connected with this company to do to print out statements, stock statements and stuff overnight, and they use like this big computer. It's called AS100, it's an IBM computer. I got trained on that, and I was doing that for a while. So I was doing overnights, doing that, and then I got hooked up with another job for the day. I'm doing mailroom service for this big marketing company. So I was working hard, but that money was short, bro. I used to get these checks. I'm like, yo, I just spend this in the club like in 20 minutes. So it took me some time to adjust with that, man. Because I was still trying to hang out and still go party, and I'm like on some legit money, and that wasn't going. So, yeah.
So so you're still drinking at the time, right?
Oh, drinking.
Has it become like abusive, or is it more like leisure?
So I never had like I would never drink in the house. I wouldn't sit there and watch a game and drink. I didn't do that. So I was like a social drinker. So I needed to be out.
But where did you move to? Because you leave. So you and your girl break up.
Yeah. So then I moved around to multiple spots. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Dating different women, and I'm
with
living
your
in
kids?
their cribs.
Or
The kids
stayed,
with them.
always
yeah,
stay with
yeah,
the mom.
Yeah. But at that time, man, this is like I'm trying to like get these timelines right. So out doing these jobs, and then my boy is a producer, gets a hit record, and then I want to somehow get in on the team working with him to be in the music industry.
What song was it?
Lumidee.
Oh, that's your girl? That was my jam when I was in like high school.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I was in 8th grade. No.
I traveled all over with them.
Her and Fabulous.
Yeah. I was in that video.
What?
Yeah, I had some.
What were you doing?
I was in the crowd. I had some blue navy Carolina blue on with a hat. I was in there. My kids were in the video.
We're gonna put the link to the video inside. Your Lumidee video. That's my jam.
Yeah. So we did.
I think she had another hit too.
She had a couple of hits. She did some stuff. She's still doing it. She's doing big things.
She's Spanish, right?
Spanish.
Yeah, because she had all the flags in her video.
Yeah, I grew up with her sister. Me and her sister went to the same school. I grew up with all of them. So
Lumidee.
Yeah, that's family.
Didn't they shoot that? Wasn't there like a bodega inside that? Yeah. That's when I was like, where are they at?
Yeah. Yeah, I was doing that. I was with that. That record was picked up by Universal Motown. So I got in the mix with them.
So you were just
I was
just a part of the crew.
So my official title is on the actual album of the record is executive assistant.
So
Tommy Gunz Rivera.
She put your street name.
Yeah, that's what it was, bro.
Tommy Gunz.
Yeah.
So when did you get off? So when did this music stop?
Music stopped. I think the record business started going down when we started going digital.
2000 something.
Yeah, 2000.
Napster and all that.
Yeah, all that stuff started hitting, whatever. But I transitioned from doing the music stuff with them and being in that to like talent agencies. So I used to like book shows and all that stuff. Like when Pitbull started, like I booked shows for him and all that stuff.
He had the braids.
Yeah, did all that, and then I went from that doing some promotion and marketing for like Pepsi and Chevy. So I was always like, so that hustler mentality. But I took that into that world, so I was able to connect with different people, and then I got plugged in multiple ways.
Networking.
Yeah, so it was wild because I was like, where am I? Like I'm traveling the country on Britney Spears tour bus, promoting Pepsi. I'm like, how am I doing this?
You're sitting there with Britney Spears.
It was wild.
Oops, I did.
But I literally met like Aerosmith, like. I was like Green Day. Like I was in Park City Utah, in a ski resort with Green Day. Like, dude from Smash Harlem over here, and I'm over here in the
Tommy
room.
Gunz.
Yeah, wow, it was so crazy.
And they don't even know how far you became.
Yeah, they don't even know, like
what a nice guy.
Man, they don't even know I'd have robbed them in like 2 seconds.
The bus tire broke down.
Yeah, it was crazy, but like, yeah, that's how my in my early 20s is definitely was like where I was going, man. And so the music stuff, by the grace of God, I just got involved in that and stood in that space, and
the music led to the marketing.
Music led to the marketing and promotions. Started doing like different contract work for that, because I was able to go out and execute marketing and promotion plans in different states and everything else. So I literally traveled the country, like 3-4 times, and it was in places where like West Virginia in the backcountry,
Backwoods, them hicks.
Sticks. Like trying to find a party to go to. One of hotels like, hey, there's a bar down the road, you can go in there. We're like, all right, cool. So me and my boy that was with me on the thing, we was like, he's a white dude from Chicago. So I'm like, yeah, we good. Walking. We see some lights. After like a mile and a half, we walk, we see some lights. It's like literally somebody's house. And it was just like, I guess the front or the back of the house like was the bar. So we go. I go in first because, dude from Chicago, he's, a young kid, so he wasn't like, and I'm like, yo, wherever I'm walking to, I'm walking all right. I ain't worried about it. I walk in, bro, the music stops. Walk in, like, legit, music stops, everything is done. So I'm just like, I already know, I'm like, I'm not going to just stop and look like I'm nervous. I'm going to just walk to the bar. Walk straight to the bar. Like, hey, we got some drinks or whatever. And like, yeah, we got some beers. So I know how to do things. So I'm like, all right, I want to buy everybody drinks. Because I already knew they beer like $2 or whatever. So I'm going to buy every. It's like 15, 20 people in there.
I got Peachtree, Olive Branch, yeah.
I was just like, yeah, so let's just get everybody drinks in the bar. And the lady was like, yeah, for real? I'm like, yeah, just get everybody drinks. She goes there and she's like, hey, this dude right here bought y'all drinks or whatever. So everyone raise a glass, whatever. So then they had some DJ equipment over there. And my man that's on the bus with me, that's why he's on the bus, because he's a DJ. I'm like, yo, start DJing. He's like, nah. I'm like, listen, I'm telling you, we're going to get this right. He started DJing. I'm getting on the mic. I'm the hype man. It was crazy. We had like a crazy party in there. So like
said, boy, Tommy Gunz came up here and turned this bar out.
It was like one of those nights, man. It was just like everything. So you had some young dudes coming in. Everyone started partying. It was like, it started getting live. Music was just going. Everything was crazy. So now I'm cool with everybody. So they like, hey, because bars are closing, I think like 2:30 over there or whatever. Mm-hmm. So they was like, hey, we go back. Come back to our house or whatever. Like, they started talking about this bonfire and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, nah, we ain't doing that.
That was your cutoff?
Yeah.
No,
I was like, nah, we ain't doing that.
Doing
I'm like, yo, we ain't doing that. I ain't going nowhere where y'all going to be burning some wood and all that. Nah. I'm like, nah, we good, bro. We all right.
It's getting hot for you, Mr. Gunz.
Yeah. I'm like, nah, we good. But, it was wild, man. But those are experiences that I had, like, throughout the country, just being able to go to different places and, like, actually meet different people and all that stuff, man. So it was just.
When do you meet Susan?
Susan was actually, me and Susan started dating right before I left on that Pepsi tour that I did. So she was her friend is her best friend is one of my friends that I grew up with in my block. So like, I know her brother, family, all the family. So we known each other for years. So one night Susan was like hanging out with her in front of the building.
Oh, she's from Harlem.
Susan's from the Bronx. Her best friend is from Harlem.
Okay.
So they were just hanging out because I think they met in college or something like that. So I was like with my boys, with them, and I'm like, all right, we trying to look for something to do, whatever. So I pop out. I'm like, yo, what y'all doing? Y'all want to hang out? And they was like looking at each other like, all right, hang out. So we all wound up hanging out, going to some club or whatever. And then, I think, I was definitely trying to mac on Susan for a minute. And, she was feeling the kid, I had some game. She says I don't, but I had some game. So whatever.
Where was y'all first date? Without her friend.
Our first date without her friend. That's a great question. I'm not even sure what was
Y'all
our
been
first
together,
date.
what, a decade?
16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
16 married for
a
a year.
less.
Be going on a year this summer.
This summer be a year. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So you meet her 16 years ago.
Yeah.
When
yeah.
do y'all start? When does it get serious?
So right before, right when I left to this Pepsi tour to do marketing, she and I we were just seeing each other and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I had came back, and she was like, "Yo, you need to tell me if you my man or what." Like she put that down. Like, yo, yeah,
she
wasn't
pressed
like,
you.
Yeah, she pressed me, and I was just like, man, I need to tell her something because I got all my stuff packed up. Nah. I was like, I need her to help me with all my stuff. Nah, that's jokes, but nah, she not really. But I was trying to.
I was need a place to stay.
I need a place to stay when I get back. Nah, but yeah, she told me, and I was just like, yeah, nah, you my girl. Why you bugging? Like we good, but I guess I didn't realize what that was because she was like, yeah, I'm a girl. All right, now this is how it's gonna change. Like I need you to be doing this and that.
So she made you start buckling down and start.
She was definitely a force, man. I used to argue and stuff, and I'd be like, yo, you not my mother. I used to be like, you ain't my mother. You need to stop this nonsense you on. You ain't my mother.
And now I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Word. But I tell you that, I think about it now, it's just like her being there and being grounded and mind you, she's grounded in God because she had a relationship with God way before I did or even knew about it. And her family are so close knit and tight. Like the things that she would do and tell me, were just the way we're supposed to be doing as a family. Like she didn't see it as I'm just gonna be a guy that she's gonna date for a year or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That like she saw something else that I didn't see, and she saw that this is the man I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with. And I didn't know that, and so I fought that all the way through the way she was acting.
Did you ever break up along the way?
No, we never broke up.
Oh, y'all been in 16 years straight?
Yeah, we never broke up. I think at one point it was like we need to like separate or whatever, and she was like, "Nope, that's not gonna happen." I was like, "Well, then you're just gonna be
my husband."
Yeah, I guess. All right, well, you're just gonna be mad every day. And no, she was that breaking up. Yeah, not even like. I mean, she would be mad and like not talk to me, or I wouldn't talk to her, but she would show up. Wow. And we weren't living together, but she would be at wherever I stood at, she would be there every day. Like and even if she was mad at me and didn't talk to me, she would still come.
And just be like,
just be mad in the living room. Just be mad at me, but be mad at me in front of me, like that was it, and then go back home. Yeah.
How was her family receptive of you?
So I didn't meet her father till probably like 5-6 years
into
after
the relationship.
Yeah, like I didn't meet her father.
Did he live in New York?
Yeah, they live like right down the block. She wasn't bringing me, but the funny thing is, her mother knew me, so I met her mother.
Okay.
And the first time, actually, I met her mother, I was actually working doing like I was road managing like a freestyle artist. And they had like a night gig, and at that time I was during the weekend I would stay with my kids during the weekend, so I needed someone to watch my kids. So I told Susan, I'm like, I need you to stay and watch the kids while I go to work, and she's like, well, I can't stay in your house. You just have to come to my house. I'm like, all right, as long as you cool with it. So the first time I met her mother, I'm dropping off my kids, so I'm dropping off kids so she can watch them.
Hi, how are you? I'm Tom, and these are my two kids.
Here you go. I'll see you later.
Why didn't she want to go to your house? She just didn't feel comfortable?
No, I think it was just because she needed to be home. Like, it wasn't something like, her dad wasn't like rocking with, and her dad I think was traveling at that time, but like, it wasn't like you can just spend the night out. Like, you needed to like be home. You need to tell them where she needed, like, so most of the time, like when she stood over, she would tell him like she's with a friend or she had to do something for work.
Yeah, I
Like it
understand.
was like one of those things, So
This is you guys are early 20s, right? When y'all met?
I'm in my late 20s. She's like 21 and I'm like 26.
Wow, so she knew at that young age, like, this is, we're locking it down.
She was like, I'm gonna mess with this crazy dude, whatever. Her best friend, who was my friend too, was like, yo, you can't mess with that dude. That dude was crazy.
It was a thrill, though, right?
Probably.
He's not crazy with me.
Yeah, I was crazy though. I was definitely. But I was. Yeah. I need to ask her these questions because I'm just like thinking about it now. I'm like, yeah, how do you even stay with me? Like I was just.
We're gonna get on the podcast.
Yeah. Word. Yeah. So
So 6 years you meet Pops. What does Pops say when you first meet?
He's an old school Spanish man, so it wasn't like we were buddy. He just like, hey, how you doing? All right, like,
Take
but
care of my daughter.
yeah, pretty much, stuff that I do now with my kids.
Mhm.
Like, I had that talk with my daughter's boyfriend, like, yo, as long as she's happy, I'm happy. When she's not happy, you're not gonna be happy. Take that however you want it, but that's how it's going down. But yeah, no, I had that conversation, but he's just lucky I just found God, because if it wasn't for that, he probably would have got a smack right after that conversation.
He said, go talk to that cab driver down there.
Yeah.
Open that square up.
Yeah, nah, but yeah, he was good. It just he was older man that just has 3 daughters, cares for his kids.
Is she the oldest or she's a baby?
She's the middle.
Oh, so she's a...
Yeah, so it's the older one and then the younger one. And, yeah, I mean, he raised them well. All of them have great careers, and, they're all
When do
good
you guys
women.
start doing, like, family Thanksgivings, family Christmases?
Yeah, right after I met her dad, then it was just like every
Okay.
holiday,
You're part of the family now.
I'm there. Even when I didn't want to be there, I'm there. Because
Yeah.
I wasn't used to like that dynamic.
Yeah, 'cause you grew up
yeah, I
on
was
a
just
dolo.
yeah. So I was like, yo, we going where? I'm like, all right, so we go. And then what they do, and which is great now. I realize what it's just like pictures on everything.
Mhm.
It's just like take pictures. So I'm like, man, we gotta do more pictures. And I'm just
Document
like,
the moments, man.
bro, this was next level. I'm like, yo, y'all all got the same phone. Just one person take the picture and send the pictures around. Nah, it don't work like that.
No. Get them angles.
Yeah.
Get them angles right.
But yeah, it was. I mean, so it was a lot of years of that, and but I'm still hanging out. I'm still partying.
How does she feel about that?
Oh, she's like, yo, you need to stop. Like, what are you doing? And it was
Was it calling you? Like, why were you just...
I just needed like this this break of like this monotony of doing the same thing over, like getting up in the morning, going to work.
Like a hamster.
Yo, it drove me crazy.
Mhm.
Drove me crazy, and just looking for something else to break that up. And it was going to alcohol, and then alcohol was just like and alcohol was definitely part of it, but the social part of it, of just being out there and being able to talk to people and doing all that stuff, was a big part of it too. Because I would go into any bar. It could be a country bar, whatever. Didn't matter what it was. It could be, I would be in bars with dudes that are worth $1 million or hood dudes in the bar. No matter where it was, I was there, and I was able to talk with them that had all this money from Wall Street to dudes that were just hustling on the block. So I was able to just hang out and drink and talk, and that was my nights. And
she was there in the morning. She was there for those...
She was there. She was there,
afters.
yeah. And then
hangover, excuse me.
Oh man, she was just like,
Growing up and...
Yeah. And then we moved in together, because at one point she was still living with her parents, but when we moved in together, she knew the magnitude of it, but she would leave. But when we moved in together, now she saw, like,
she saw full force.
because she's
First
there.
person,
Yeah. So it's like, if I'm hanging out and I'm not coming back home to the morning, she's there. Like, and then I would just tell her, like, no, I'm just gonna hang out for a couple of hours. Got some people from work or whatever. And those couple of hours would be like till 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Was it the weekends or every night?
Oh man, it didn't matter what day it was.
Or would you go down anytime?
Yeah, whatever I felt.
Mm-hmm.
it was time to go. It was it. And it's usually, she knew, it got to the point where she knew when I was going to go into that mode. Because she saw the pattern.
Okay.
And she would try to fight it. She would wait, and she's like, I knew you're going to text me. So I'll be at work, and I'm already, like, feeling this, like, man, I'm out tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be, like, lying to myself, like, no, I'm going to go home. I'm going to go home.
I'm going to go
home.
I'm going to, she got food over there?
Yeah, and then it would just be, like, this text, like, oh, hey, babe, just going to hang out with some coworkers. I'll be home in a little bit. Never happened. Never happened. And she knew it, and she knew when it was happening because she would start texting me early. Hey, how you feeling? What are you doing?
Oh, okay.
What's going on?
Okay.
So that was like what she was doing all the time, and I was just like, why she keep bothering me? I'm like, what's she doing? Like, but she knew the pattern. She knew exactly.
She's still going to church now, right?
Yeah.
She's still praying for you, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, man, praying. I mean that was an ongoing thing, and I tell you.
Did she ever drag you to church? Did she ever like come with me, please? Christmas.
So she always says come to church. She had took me to church. We started going to one church, and I was just like, I don't even know why I'm here. Like, this is crazy. This is not even like my mood, my vibe. I'm not doing this. And then we switched churches, and the church we're at now, she literally was just like, yo, I need you to come. And I'm like, yo, that's not what I'm doing. Like, I don't want to go. I'm like,
I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Let me go to the bathroom real fast.
Yeah. But one of the things that happened was, and this is how it gets wild and crazy, is because the closer I believe I was getting to God, the worse I was getting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the closer I saw, like, all right, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be going, the worse. I mean, I would be out for nights. I'm like, yo, I'm out, hanging out. Then I started using, like, drugs and all that stuff. So drinking, doing cocaine and all that stuff. And that turned into, like, days of me partying, hanging out. But it was really, like, even the days that I went to church with Susan, because I was just like, I don't want to fight with her. I just hung out for, like, 2 days straight.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday I'm going to go to church with her so she could be happy. And that's how it started. So when I started...
Isn't that crazy how you started, how the homies told you don't ever use drugs?
Mm-hmm.
Then at the end you start, not at the end, but like now you start using.
Yeah.
And you were aware of like...
Oh, yeah. But that was like the start of just like where I was like going down. But it really put it in a place of just like, you have to go through these depths of like darkness that at one point you're gonna have to scream out for help. You know?
That's a good one.
And you know, and I look back at it now, wherever the things I was in, I was in some dark places, and I was really in some real like crazy situations, but God was just there, just making sure I was gonna get through it, without even me knowing. But it wasn't until I went through all these experiences that I went through throughout my years, to where I got to this final night of like my most vulnerable, my most like, what am I doing self, is when he pushed it. He was just like, all right, now it's time for you to flip it. Now it's time for you to like come to me, you know? And he was laying these seeds down, like for my brother praying for me in the hospital, you know, when I got shot. You know, for me getting and being with a woman that there is no reason for her to be with me.
No reason.
No reason.
This would never happen.
You know? No reason for her to be with me. For her to be where she was at, that she's going to just stick with me through no matter what, to where I was just like a dirtbag, didn't care about anything, and she stood with me to the point where we moved in together, and we're just still I'm going through these things that I'm doing, and she's just taking it like a champ. Mad, cursing me out, like ready to cut me and all that, but still praying for me, you know, to the point where I have my third child, my son, my little guy, to where she told me she was pregnant and I was on the couch hungover.
Wow.
And when she was like, "Hey, I'm pregnant," I was happy, but I was so hungover. All I could do was give her a thumbs up. Yeah,
I did it.
Yeah, I did it. I was like, all right, that was it. Like for her to go through that, for her to go through, these months pregnant with me still being outside hanging out, for me hanging out, like arguing with her,
Wow.
like me to a point where at one point like we were fighting whatever, and I was home like drunk or whatever, and I threw like a pot at her. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she's pregnant. She's like 7 months pregnant with my kid. It's crazy for her to still be with me.
Right.
Right? For us to like have our child, God bless. Thank you, Father, for that, because he is a gift that he gave us. And for that to happen, and for me to still be in a place where I'm still like full of joy, loving my son,
right,
but still not, you know, still not focused on what I need to focus on, and that's God's love. But through all that, God has given her the strength to show me grace. Through all that, I'm still like going back and forth, and then I go to church. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm just going to go because I partied last night. I need to go make her happy. I don't want to fight with her. This is not. But then there's more encounters in the sense of like God is bringing real brothers around me, you know? And I'm skeptical about it. I'm like, man, I don't know these dudes.
It's not weird, right?
Yo,
I love you so much.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, hey.
I'm like, yo, bro, I would never talk to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, like, I'm not even doing that. But like to be in that time, to be able to go through all that and meet genuine men that care about you, and it goes back to what we talked about from the beginning. Like if I had someone speaking life into me from a positive, how things would have been changed. But God made it so that I go through all these things. So now that I'm getting spoken to in the presence with God, where life is being spoken to me, now I'm starting to understand all these things. And then I have this encounter.
Right.
There's an encounter of me doing the utmost. My wife is traveling. I'm by myself because my son's still baby is with the grandparents. And I'm by myself. And I'm just like, I ain't got nothing else to do. All right. So I'm trying to stay focused. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to a men's group, you know, while we kicking it. Great evening talking about God, being able to say, you know, what God is doing in our lives, how we should be living in Christ, and how the walk is and everything else. And then I felt so good about that meeting. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go celebrate and have some whiskey. I was like,
Tennessee
man,
whiskey.
God was so good.
He's
so good. I'm going to go have some whiskey now. And that started, and this was a Thursday. That started 2 nights, Thursday night, all day Friday night to Saturday morning, to where I was like, I had to go home. Mind you, Susan is, my wife is, at that time, still my girlfriend, live-in girlfriend, is traveling, and we were at the, you know, just to know the context of how our relationship was. I was sleeping on the couch, and I was like ready to like leave, looking for a place or whatever. But she was still showing me grace. So fast forward to that Saturday morning when I get up, I'm like, what am I doing? I get in the shower, and because I was able to hear other brothers talk about their vulnerability, hear other brothers understand what their walk is and how they got there, and understanding that you don't have to have all these formats to talk with God. All you need to do is have it in your heart and ask for help.
Right.
And, bro, did I ask for help? I was in that shower. I was crying. I never cried like that, and cried and cried and cried, and I asked God for help. And I tell you that I felt this presence of, like, someone just grabbing me and holding me so tight that I started just, you get that last cry and you're like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I was just so comforted at that moment. And then the first thing I did was reach out to one of the brothers, right? And I reached out to one of the brothers and I'm like, man, I let everyone down. And this brother was just like, a word, I'm going to call you. Calls me. He was like, where you at? I'm like, in the crib. He was like, send me your address. Send me the address. In my crib. 20 minutes later, in my living room.
Both of them.
Yo, it was wild because I'm like, and you know what? We all started a relationship there, but it wasn't to that point where this brother was going to come over. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, word, this brother's here. So I'm like in this emotional wreck place, like feeling like, man, I don't even know what's going on. He's talking with me. We're talking. We're praying. And then he gets off my living room couch. I'm like, where's this dude going? He goes open up my front door. Another brother comes in. And then I'm just like, yo, wait. Like, dudes are coming. He's like, nah, we put out a 911, bro. Bros are praying for you.
The bat signal.
He's like, yo, bros are praying for you right
I'm
now.
on the road, but I saw the signal.
Yeah. I'm like, nah. He's like, yo, bros are praying for you right now, man. He's like, bros are coming. Bros are praying for you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to talk this out. We're going to be here for you. We're going to work this thing out, you know? And that Sunday, church happened. I actually went and picked up my son and brought him to church. So it's myself, my son. Took him to the kids ministry part. I'm walking in there with my Bible. First time, my wife bought me a Bible, and I probably opened that twice. And I'm walking in there with the Bible. I'm sitting down, hear the word. I didn't even know where the word, what happened in the word, whatever, because that wasn't that moment. The moment, I think it was the first time they did an altar call. And, asking whoever wants to, pray, just come up to the front, and before that salvation prayer is just like, if you believe in God, that, died on the cross and rose again, like, you're saved. You're good to go. So I'm raising my hand. I'm like, yo, I'm here. I believe. And I went down and the altar call and 3 brothers prayed on me. And, each time I went through that, the brothers prayed on me, I felt this like heaviness just lift, bro, like really lift off my shoulders, like just my head, just like this whole, and by the time I went to, and actually the pastor was the last one that prayed over me, and he gave me specific, he asked me, be specific of what you want. And I was just like, I want to be a good man. I want to stop drinking. I want to stop using drugs. And I want to be a man of God. And he prayed over me. And I tell you that whatever was going on before then, whatever happened, that died. Mm-hmm. And this new person, this new spirit rose from there, bro. And I walked out of there with just this confidence, this like, man, it's really hard to explain it, but like this peace of understanding that I'm good.
Right.
And I'm good. I'm really good. And that was 20.
Was it 2017?
2017? December 2017, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
December 2017, and I have not had a drink. I don't even think about alcohol. I don't have no
sober at your wedding too.
No alcohol there. That was Susan's call. I was just like, yo, I know some people want to drink. She's like, nah, we ain't doing that. That's not what we do. Yeah, and it's true.
It was a good wedding. That food was good too.
Yeah,
I was mad they had to go. I was like, they ain't got to go plates here.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't, and I know people go through and probably hear this like, man, but everyone goes through their addiction situations differently and how they do it. But the main thing that's constant in that is, what do you choose? Mm-hmm. And if you choose yourself, you're never gonna beat that.
Right.
If you go and you choose God as your savior, that's the strength that you need when you're in the most weakness, right? And because of that, for me, how it happened, it was just like immediately I was freed. Immediately I was delivered from that. Because I don't have those like cravings or like, man, I need to drink and that. I don't even, that's not even in my, in my space right now.
And it's amazing how God uses the ones that been through something.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like when you reach out, because Tom reaches out to a lot of the guys that we have out here. He reaches out. I feel like you relate because you've literally been there.
Yeah.
You could literally tell someone, no, I was there. Because most of all the disciples, they all were flawed men.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the flawed, not even flawed, the ones that have had a story can reach out to more people.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and that's totally, I agree with you 100% because a lot of men that I reach out to now, I've probably 99% of the time went through it or definitely went through it. When it goes through, addictions, you go through lust, you go through marriage issues, you go through, the single time when you're alone in your thoughts, where you're going through, like, I've been through all that. And, and I just thank God just for the opportunity that he's given me, and just being able to say that, without him, I wouldn't be here. Without him, I wouldn't even have the understanding, the strength to even like to be on this podcast talking. Like, man, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And just to be able to say, no, God saved me. Like, Jesus pushed me through that valley I was in a time when it was his time, not our time. You know what I'm saying? And that's the other thing too. Like, we have to like really understand, like, it doesn't happen on our time, and sometimes we try to push things fast forward and do things, but God doesn't work like that. He's the man that created time.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't work on our time, and we could get frustrated in that. But when he does and he does the things that he does in our lives, it's really for us, and the two-way relationship we have with him is to be ready and be vulnerable for and obedient to receive it. And the start is that first step is to choose him.
Yeah.
Choose him. That first step. Choose him. And once you do that, then he's going to bring the people around you. He's going to bring the strangers that you don't even know, give you something that you're going to hear and you're going to be like, wow, it all makes sense now. The clarity, the conviction and all that, and then the Holy Spirit that's in you, because that's exactly what he leaves is your comforter, your teacher, and everything that you do, and Holy Spirit moves in you.
Because it's always weird when you're around a whole bunch of group of men, and then someone starts being vulnerable, and you're like, okay, it's a safe place. When we went up to the Poconos, sometimes you could feel that people are just like they're waiting, and then boom, boom, like, all right, this is a safe place.
And that was, I mean, I wanted to reference that earlier in the talk, but that was like one of the biggest parts when I talk about where God brings, people around you, and I just want to like say, brother, like when we were there that first night, I was just like, man, this is crazy. I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Watching
Yeah.
YouTube fail videos.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, this is not. But by that second night, when we all started really, getting comfortable and talking and everything else, God's presence was in the building. He was there. And then when we started praying for each other, and then when I got moved into the middle, and I felt, 23 great men, their hands on me praying, and then for you to pour into me and for you to speak life into me, that meant so much to me. And only God was able to do that, because only God was able to move within each vessel that was able to receive that. And I thank God that you were there. I thank God that he brought you in my life. I thank God that you was with me at that moment when I needed to hear what I needed to hear to allow me to continue to move forward where I was at. And I appreciate you, brother. Like, really,
I appreciate you, man. We're all just vessels, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're all just vessels for each other.
Absolutely.
Because we both got engaged at the same time.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. I was like, you getting one? Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. I'm like,
so you change your life completely. Tom, he serves at the church. Tom He's out there. He's out there helping the people. When did you know, like, all right, I want to make Susan my wife?
Oh, that was immediate, man. I was just like, yo,
Or were you always planning on doing that?
No.
Oh,
It was there was no wedding and none of that, and I don't think she was ever gonna marry me if I didn't change. So she loved me. She loved me a lot, but I mean, she was like, yo, if I need to go, I need to go.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I mean, we're at the end of our relationship in the sense of like, something drastic needed to change, like a miracle, because like literally we were just roommates at one point, and it was like she was just giving me time to figure out where I was gonna go. And as soon as I got saved, probably right after the Poconos, and she was back, and we talked and everything else, the grace that she showed me during that time. And just so you know, like before I got saved, I was still coming home drunk, hungover, early in the morning, everything else. And at one point, she was just not fighting with me. So remember I told you my father used to let my mother in after her drunken craziness and then say, I'm glad you're home, and just rest. Susan started doing that to me.
Oh.
And I tell you how that put me in a totally different place, because I was always ready to fight with her. Like that excuse to be like, all right, I'm going back out, or that excuse to that.
Right.
When she started saying, I'm glad you're home, I'm praying for you, I'm glad you're home, just rest, that put it in a totally different level. And the hurt that I was feeling was because of what I was doing to her. So just fast forward now we're like, I'm in a space where, man, God is number one in my life, and my relationship with him is just going to grow and everything else. I go and I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, we need this union. This covenant has to go happen. And then, like, one of the weeks that I was, like, in my mind thinking about that, like, Pastor was talking about, this covenant of marriage and what is important unto God and everything else. I was just like, yo, we need to go to City Hall, like, right now, And Susan was just, like, started laughing. Was just like, yo, I don't believe you even, like, talk. I'm like, listen, we are living in sin.
We're living in sin.
We cannot live like this. We need to go get married right now. And, yeah, but, it was a realization of, like, what God does in your life, and how he, its first thing is the transformation, and being able to transform is the first part, is you have to receive. And when you receive, the transformation starts. And then when that transformation starts, now you start applying that transformation and start acting on it. So I went through those seasons probably pretty quick for, a lot of people would say, because sometimes that takes longer than others, and everyone's walk is different. But I went through that transformation and applying it, and then I'm hearing all these things. I'm like, oh no, we can't live like this. We need to get married. And then we started talking. We talked to Pastor, and then we had Pastor Allen give us premarital counseling, which is amazing. We'll be able to do that. Even though we thought we knew each other, like being able to speak through some of the things actually made me realize, oh man, we have a lot to go.
Yeah, I'm doing that now.
So even after 15 years. There was a lot more to unpack, because now we're in two different places now, right? Because now I'm receiving and I'm understanding. I'm more conscious of what my words mean and how I'm speaking, and I don't say things that are hurtful or anything else, because you can't.
Right.
That's that's the word. Like whatever comes out of your mouth, is coming from your heart, and whatever's coming out of your mouth can damn you, kill you,
Yeah. Life and death.
So it's real, and that was one of the things where it's just being able to go through that and hear some of the things that she would talk about, and me understanding and be like, oh, okay, now I understand this. So that helped. And we had the date already picked and everything else, and we just wanted. She wanted a wedding. She didn't want a big one, but we wanted to plan it right and do all that stuff. So.
Weren't you surprised with the engagement? She didn't know that.
She didn't know I was getting a ring, because she wasn't really like. She's like, we don't need a engagement ring or anything like that. So thank God for her sister who actually helped me, and because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know.
Remember you talked to me on that.
These 4 C's or whatever. I don't know what that means. I'm like, if this bling is shining, we good. So she helped me out with that, and yeah, we went to Central Park, and I made up some, some crappy, like, hey, we need to just go and check out the Central Park where we're gonna get married at. Let's bring some people there, and I was nervous though. I was nervous. I was like, so I'm there, we're walking around, and I'm trying to find the right spot to actually pop the question, and then like I turn around because someone was talking with her, and then I turn around and I'm trying to get the ring out of my jacket pocket, and it's stuck in there, bro. And I'm fumbling around, and I'm like, she's gonna be like, yo, what this man doing? And I'm fumbling around trying to get it out, and then like I got it out, and when I got it out, like she just finished having a conversation. She turned around, and then I got on my knee, and that was painful because I'm like, yo, I need to stretch a little bit more. I need to stretch a little bit more. But I got on one knee, and I just need to be my wife, and she was emotional, and it was great, and she said yes, even thank God. So we were on our way, man, and yeah, it was just amazing. And the biggest part about it is just like I see my son, and him being around and be able to see all these moments.
See him praying and stuff like that.
Praying. I mean,
he used to be scared of everybody.
Nah.
He's not scared of nobody.
No.
He used to scream all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, he prays, and I tell him, hey, Jared, his knee is hurting. Go pray for him. He'll go and lay hands on you quick. He don't play.
Don't waste no time.
No time. He doesn't look around. He goes right to it. Eyes closed, hands out. So it was just amazing to be able to see that, and know that it's because of my choice, my decision, that I said, no, I need to choose God. I need God in my life, and God met me there where I needed him the most, and because of that, it changed generations to go,
All right, we got the last part. These are called which way. This is called the one man, the questions on the hill. We call these the hill questions. I'm going to ask you these questions. First thing you can think of, you pop it out. Got it?
Got it.
So it takes however long it takes you to answer. You can take the time to answer. The final question might take a while. All right, here we go. Who's your favorite person in the Bible?
Saul, Paul, St. Paul.
Why Paul?
Paul was he immediately was going through crucifying all these Christians on his walk, but at one point God needed him, and he immediately spoke to him on the road to Damascus, and he couldn't see immediately, but when God sent and spoke to him, and sent I forgot the dude's name, and sent him over to tell him, like, those scales fell off his eyes, and he was able to see exactly what his assignment was. Yeah.
Favorite scripture?
Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpens iron.
Oh, that's a good one. When's the last time you had a nightmare?
Ooh. No nightmares. Probably a couple of years ago.
What was that?
It was definitely in one of my hangover stages or whatever. Drinking, just probably like drinking myself to death or something like that.
Have you ever had a panic attack?
I think I have. Probably back in.
I think I have.
Yeah, I mean, when you going through those things, you don't know what it is. But I think it was like, it was definitely in my younger years of like dealing with some stuff, and like I knew I was like freaking out for some stuff, and yeah.
Do you believe in soulmates?
Soulmates. I believe God connects us to the right people, yes.
Okay. What do you think happens when we die?
Man, that's a question, right? So, I think we right now, in our worldly life, is need to know that we need to follow Jesus and live righteously. But that door is narrow.
Yeah.
So I would say is you just have to stay obedient, devoted to Christ, and live as he lived, so that when that time comes, you're in the good grace.
All right. This next question is a serious question, right? So this question is called "Who are you?" Right? I'm going to say "Who are you?" and you're going to say your name, and then you're going to keep going. So the whole goal is to go beyond of who you are. Does that make sense?
I got it.
So you say "Who are you?" and I'll answer the question.
All right. Who are you?
Jared Waters. Keep going.
Who are you?
2-time wrestling champ.
Who are you?
Stand-up comedian.
Who are you?
Man of faith. Got it?
Yeah.
So the goal is to go there until you go beyond yourself, and then we'll find a stopping point.
Oh, wow.
You ready?
Yeah.
Try to give nobody no time to think. So the first thing that comes to your head, and then you just keep going. Who are you?
Tom Rivera.
Who are you?
Father.
Who are you?
Good father.
Who are you?
Brother.
Who are you?
Man of faith.
Who are you?
Man who was in sin and now in faith.
Who are you?
Devoted husband.
Who are you?
Man, these are some questions.
The whole goal is to like expand. So when we do this again, when you do "Who are you?" it'll be a whole lot faster.
Yeah.
But it's just like you see how you just went around.
Yeah.
That's good.
Cool.
Some people stop at 3.
Really?
Yeah. Some people can't even finish a question. After you ask them what their name is, I don't know, a chef?
Yeah, no, it's
You did what? Usually people stop around 3. You did like 7.
Yeah, it's really something that you should be thinking about. Like, who are you?
Who
Like,
are you?
and what? You know, like I think that's the other question is like, what is your purpose, right?
Yeah, you can go that route.
You know, and that's who you are is basically what is your purpose, and being able to deal with that. So those are deep questions, bro. I thought this was a simple podcast.
Well, that was the podcast. How you feel? Good?
Oh, great, man. I really appreciate it.
Good. Thank you for joining. This is One Man in One Trail. Follow Tom on. Are you on Twitter?
I'm
No?
on.
He's on Instagram.
Instagram.
Instagram. Shout out your Instagram.
Tom.Rivera PRV 2717. So Proverbs 2717.
That's a long one.
Yeah, it's long. Sorry.
But yeah,
man.
now we know what his favorite scripture is, so that's why it goes into his
Yeah.
Instagram. And yeah, if you see him, if you ever come to church, see him, you'll see Tom. He'll be there to help you out.
Absolutely.
All right, folks, take it easy.
All right.